Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is time for Wealthy You Wind Down. How's everybody doing? Yes, come on in. You've got time to get your favorite glass of vino. And tonight I'm excited because we're going to be talking about the truth about wealth. So, who wants to know the truth about wealth? In the comments section, let me know who wants to know the truth about wealth. So, first of all, let me just make sure you can all hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? Excellent, excellent. So, let's see who else is in the house. Hey, Joanne. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Concetta. Excellent. Come on in. It's time for Wealthy You Wind Down. And for those of you who don't know what Wealthy You Wind Down is about, all I want to tell you is we have fun. It's 8 o'clock every Wednesday night. So let's wait for a few more people to get here to hang out with us. And tonight we're going to be talking about a few things. A couple of things. I want to if you're not following me on LinkedIn, make sure you're following me on LinkedIn and Twitter and all of the different platforms, because on LinkedIn, we've been having a conversation about debunking the 4 myths of wealth, specifically for women of color and Black women in particular. So that's the conversation that we're going to have tonight. So before I get started, though, I think it would be great if I got some feedback from all of you first. So, what is a myth about wealth that you had? And basically, something that you believed about wealth or what it means to be wealthy or even financially successful. What was a myth that now you realize it really didn't stand the test of time? Because that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So in the comments, share maybe a myth that you had about financial success that you now know was not necessarily true. Anybody hold any myths? I mean, I know up as a young Black girl in Detroit, especially in Detroit, I equated wealth with the type of car that you drove, right? Because cars, even now when you go to Detroit, it's one of the few places you can go where, number one, you see a lot of American-made automobiles. And then secondly, that you see all of these souped up cars. Who can relate to that? I know I got some Detroiters in the house, so that they may be able to attest to that as well. The other thing we're going to talk about tonight is in the WealthyU community. I know I'm broadcasting on my Facebook page in the WealthyU community, the Facebook community. If you haven't joined our free Facebook community, then you just want to search for WealthyU community and join us in there, because we always have different events and trainings, and there are resources in our community, but our biggest resources are our members in the community. So if you haven't joined us there, make sure that you do. So tonight, it's Wealthy You Wind Down. And so, of course, I must begin by introducing myself. I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we teach women of color how to build their first 6- and 7-figure investment portfolios so that they can live the financial success, that they can achieve the financial success that they desire and that they deserve. And so what we're most excited about in this community is learning how to really manage the art of investing and learning how to build wealth. And, basically take the income that we earn, turn it into wealth. So in WealthyU, we call that turning from earner to owner, or from earning an income to becoming a share owner. So good evening, everybody. It's time for WealthyU wind down. And so I want to start by sharing with you what I am drinking tonight. Actually, it's called Senegal. It's something, it sounded almost from the African continent, but actually I think it's a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. Red wine again. Who's drinking red wine with me tonight? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me look at some of your comments. Okay, so Gail Artist says being wealthy is the same as being rich, lots of money. That's interesting. However, even being rich, one step above rich is wealthy. And that's at that point, because think about it. I love that you said that, Gail, because think about rich to me is kind of like newfound wealth, first generation wealth, right? Where, you see it with artists or football players. They become rich with a lot of money, but what happens? Because they didn't have a wealth mindset, or no one ever taught them how to actually take that money, that found money that they found, and turn it into wealth. What happens is they typically lose it within a generation. So that's one thing. Stephanie said wealth was only about having a job that paid well. Absolutely. Because think about it. That's really what we were taught. I know I heard this today, and it really encapsulated the reason for WealthyU. So I want you guys to write this down. That financial literacy is inherited because it's not taught. So think about that for a moment. It's exactly what I have been pounding into you guys' heads, right? And that is that, if you didn't come from a family that had a wealth advisor or had understood wealth themselves and taught it to you, then you never learned it. Agree or disagree with me, guys? Agree or disagree with me? Right? So financial literacy is inherited, it's not taught. And so because of that, so many of us never learned how to turn our income into wealth. We just learned how to earn it. And so one of the things that I found in working with thousands of women is that so much of our mindset, that income mindset, is steeped in fear of loss. So I want you guys to get this, right? Steeped in the fear of loss. So the reason you're afraid to take risk is because you're trying to hold on to what you already have, and you're afraid of losing it. Agree or disagree with me? Yes. And so what is important now is that you understand the truth about wealth. And so that's really where I want to start today. I'm going to be hitting on some points. Certainly if you're in the WealthyU community or the WealthyU society, this has been drilled into you. And why? Because we have to bust these myths. You know how you have to break something down in order to build it up. Because even though they're myths, they're beliefs that are all around us every day. And, if it kind of goes against, is in direct conflict to what we're being told. You guys get it? And so tonight, for those of you who perhaps may be new to WealthyU, or for those of you who are in the WealthyU community, and certainly those of you who are in the WealthyU society, this needs to be drilled into you over and over and over so that you don't fall back into that income mindset. Go back into believing these myths. And the most important thing is that we don't pass it along to our children. Because that's the whole point of WealthyU. People always ask me, why you only focus on women of color? Why you only focus on black women? Because I know that if we financially empower one woman, it's going to impact generations to come. You guys understand me? And so tonight I wanted to drill into the truth about wealth. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before I get started, let me see who else it is. So Cheryl says it's hard for people to break that cycle. That's absolutely right, because their beliefs, whatever we behave as we believe. And if we believe it, whether it's the truth or not, right, then we're still going to behave in that manner. So that's so good. So good. Cheryl. Evelyn says, true. We work so hard to get it and save it. That's right. But we can't save our way to wealth. We must take risk. And when we learn how to take calculated risk. So here's what I thought about. And this is a true story. A woman that I coached one of the things that WealthyU Society members and Inner Circle coaching members know, that our process is analyze, right? Optimize, maximize. So the first thing you got to do is analyze where you are today. And so in analyzing, kind of look at what your savings or what kind of returns you're earning on your money. And true story, I was started coaching a woman, and when we analyzed her situation, one of the things that we realized was that she had hundreds of thousands of dollars literally that she thought was invested, and the market was going, that she was invested. And what we found out when we analyzed her portfolio was that she had gotten scared in 2008, taken her money out, went back in. Well, no, it was probably 2011 or so. She took her money out. The market had went down. She was afraid of losing money. And so a few years later, she called her investment company back up and told them that she wanted to go back into the market and invest. But what she didn't realize, that the only thing they changed was any new investments would go into those new funds, not her existing ones. So she literally 7 or 8 years later, lost opportunity cost. Her money could have doubled in that time. And yet it didn't, because it wasn't in the market. So here's what I want you to understand is fear of loss is one thing, but opportunity costs are another. That's why it's important for you to understand the truth about wealth and to understand that you cannot save your way to wealth. So that's where we're going to start tonight. Agree or disagree with me, ladies? Terry says, I'm glad you focus on black women because of the disparity in wealth between us and other races. That's exactly right. And we're going to double click on that tonight. Okay? So we are going to focus on, ladies, 4 myths about wealth that need to be debunked. Okay? 4 myths about wealth that need to be debunked. All right. So let's start with the first myth. And you guys know this is huge in our community, right? That we were taught that, student loans, that's just what you have to do in order to the more college you have, the more degrees you have, the more money you would make. So I want to ask you, is that true or false? Is it true we were told that student loan debt is good debt? Is that true? True or false, ladies? True or false? False. Right? False. Because here's what the facts show is that the average student loan debt for our counterparts is like $22,000. For African Americans, it's $55,000. You guys understand what I'm saying? We are carrying more debt, more student loan debt than any other ethnic group, any other. And one of the things I tell parents is if you've got to take out a personal plus loan, then it means, I want you guys to get this. If you got to take out a personal plus loan, a parent plus loan, affordability is the issue. You understand? Like, people would argue me down. Oh no, I've got to send them to this out-of-state school. Not if you don't have money in the bank. Not if you are going to jeopardize your future. And I know this to be true because I'm sitting down with women who are near retirement and they still are carrying parent plus loan from when their children were in college. So, like 25, 30 years ago. Right? You guys understand this? So by no means am I saying you shouldn't go to college or your children shouldn't go to college. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you have to be strategic. Okay? That's right, Alethea. To attend UDC for free, or one other objective you can do it, they can go to community college. They can take college courses while they're in high school. They can take international baccalaureate courses. They can get all of those what do you call them? Requirements, right? Basic requirements out. Then they can go to a 2-year college and then they have whatever that fancy school degree is, University of Maryland, University of Virginia. And by the way, state schools are less expensive, but do you know where they get you? Room and board. I mean, we did a prepaid tuition program for my son. I'm like, oh yeah, no tuition. That room and board was a killer. Made me go back into the corporate world. Right? And I'm just keeping it real. So no. And the other thing we need to do is for those of us who are more seasoned, if we've got young grandchildren, we don't need to be giving them toys at Christmas. We need to be investing in 529s and in funds that can help us mitigate the expenses, right? So myth number one, that, I don't know why the camera's changed. Myth number one, okay? We busted that myth, right? Okay, so let's go to myth number two. And that is that a corporate career equals financial success. Now, what do I mean by that? We were told, get one of those jobs where you can move up the ladder and don't move around because then you'll be looked at as unloyal. No. In fact, you are better off moving. If you're not getting the kind of compensation raises, if you're just getting a little 2 to 3% a year, you are basically devaluing your earning power. So it is better for you to move for other opportunities because typically that's when you can get that 20,000, that 25,000. And by the way, here's something else that I was able to ascertain from my coaching insights that I've gained. is that many of the women who have the most assets, they receive them by startups or companies with stock options, right? So you want to plant yourself. I've been saying this, go where the growth is, right? Go where the growth is. Those organizations that are growing, that are public, that give you an opportunity to uh, get stock options. You need to be negotiating stock options. If you leave one organization, you need to tell them, listen, if I'm leaving these stock options over here, for me to come with you, you got to make me whole. So a corporate career only equals financial success, ladies, if you make it so. Agree or disagree with me? So what I'm talking about, ladies, is playing chess and not checkers. It's really thinking through where you are and where you want to go. And it's you being willing to make the kind of investments and get social capital and relationships. So no, just sitting there and thinking that you're going to do a great job and you're going to be rewarded for it, that's not how it works. But again, our parents, I know my parents didn't know. My mother worked in the factory. My father was a sky cat within airlines. They didn't know about how to use strategy in the world. I mean, I had a fast trajectory at organizations, and it was just by sheer luck and grace. And God's grace, right? Undeserved. Okay? But trust me, other folks have people whispering in their ear because they've been in those situations, so they know how to navigate the landscape. Is this making sense to you guys? Agree or disagree? Myth number 2, a corporate career equals financial success. It is only so if you make it so. All right. Myth number 3. And this is a big one in our community. And I want to double click on this and go in. Okay? All right. Home ownership builds wealth. Now here, the statistics show that our homes appreciate at maybe 50% of our counterparts. And that is why it's so important that the equity that we do build in our homes, that we don't use it, take it out to buy assets that are not going to appreciate in value. Secondly, that we make sure that we're getting into the right type of loans, that we're not paying egregious interest rates. And so much of that is just understanding, FICO scores, credit, how they work, so that we can leverage. And one of the things I'm really proud about in this community is, boy, our members they're rocking. They're at 750, 795, 850, 800. Because that credit score gives you leverage, gives you agency and the ability to negotiate rates. You guys following me? So we have to be real clear about home ownership. Now, let me tell you something. In terms of home prices, what really dictates, and it's unfortunate, but school scores dictate home values, right? So, one of the things we did, we live in Maryland, and when we moved here, my husband's job was in Baltimore, mine was in DC, and our accountants, our friends said, listen, you want to move in this county because they have the best schools in the state, and home prices are expensive, but you'll either pay in private school or you pay in homes. And so what did we do? We got a smaller townhouse in one of the best school districts. And then, of course, that townhouse appreciated in value, which allowed us to take that equity and build our first home, right? And so, again, just buying any home at any rate so you can get in it, no, 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 no. There are still people in counties in Maryland and in other parts of the country who are just getting. Now, I know these interest rates have, demand for housing is high because people can qualify for more. But be strategic is all I'm saying. Be strategic. Agree or disagree with me? Excellent. Agree. Joanne says, we have been miseducated. Concetta, as an educator, you are correct. Folks move to the district I work in for the school. That's it. And so really, here's all I want you all to understand is that, it's about supply demand. So if you want to be in a school district where your children are going to get a better education, then that school district is going to have more demand. And as a result, homes in that school district are going to have more demand. Okay. Making sense to you, ladies. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Sorry. It's driving my husband crazy because the camera switched up on me, but that's okay. I figured it out, honey. Aren't you proud of me? Okay. So that was number 3. Okay. So let's look at myth number 4. And this, my friends, is the issue. Okay. I don't know why this camera keeps switching up on me, but okay. Investing in stocks is high risk. Here, listen. I said it early. What if education is not a factor? That's a good question, but it's still going to impact your home values, right? Like, we downsized to a smaller home. Thank you. Okay. All I can say is thank you, Jesus, right? Because when I looked at the amount of maintenance and utilities, everything doubled the amount, now these newer homes, and that's why I was coaching somebody today around home ownership. Don't go buy any of these older homes unless they've been updated. Our heating is like 1/3 of what it was. And not that the house is that much smaller. It's just that things are more efficient. So to your point, Rhonda, it doesn't matter if education is not a factor. All I'm telling you is any asset, the whole point of wealth, hear me out, is for your assets to appreciate. So if you're okay with your being in an area where you can get more, there is a reason, right, that home values are lower. Okay? It really is demand supply, and it's systemic racism. Okay? I'm not going to argue that. Okay? I saw this article where this couple had made all of these improvements, were in a very nice neighborhood, but when they came to assess the property value, it was like hundreds of $1,000s less. Then they had a Caucasian woman come in, and when they what do you call that? Assess their value, it was higher. So I'm not going to say that doesn't play a role, but all I'm telling you is the most important thing that drives home prices are schools. Okay? And location. If you start getting into some of the if you start getting into like retirement areas, vacation areas, that's a different story. So that's the only point that I want to make. All right. So now I want to get into this investing in stocks is high risk. And here's what the stats say, that Black women have 1/10 the assets of our counterparts. So our medium wealth, 17,000. I think it's 177,000. Retirement asset, same thing, 1/4. Now, I'm not saying that and if we start looking at the numbers, our earnings, we're earning probably 2/3 to 3/4 of what our counterpart is. But at the end of the day, this is we gotta pull the lever that we can pull, and here's the deal: 62% of households headed by African American women have no outside investments, meaning other than their 401ks. And what I will tell you, if you peel back those 401ks, and all of you in the WealthyU Society and Inner Circle know that target date funds that weren't, average annual returns, you assessed your portfolios. You saw that on average you were earning, 4%, 5%, and yet the S&P 500 index, the average annual return of stocks historically, large stocks 10%, small stocks 11, 12%, right? And what that means over time is huge. It's the difference between you having $100,000 in that G fund or $1 million. I want you guys to get that. Your inability and your fear of loss is costing you big time. Am I right? Okay, so let me see what you're saying. How do you get in those neighborhoods as everything is priced extremely high? You start small, right? You start small. You start with the smallest house on the street or the smallest condo. Let that appreciate, get some equity. It allows you then to move up. Here's the problem. We all want to start, in the $1 million range. I remember when, you go over people's homes, they're entertaining, they have these big homes. I told you guys the story of Terry and I. We love looking at homes, and we went to Delaware this weekend and we're looking at some homes, and it gave us ideas for this house, and looking at some other property. But my point is, I think I told you guys the story about Terry and I looking at these multi-million-dollar home, and it was this young couple, and they said, "Oh man, I remember you. I watched you on TV." And they were about to sit down at the closing, and Terry and I looked at each other and we were like, "Man, what did we do wrong?" Right? But the point is, a few years back, that was at the height of the market. Same thing. You start small, right? Good rule of thumb, monopoly. Right? You don't start out with the hotels. What do? You start out with the little bitty homes. That's how you do that. Let's see. Kathy said we combined our townhouse mortgage cost and private school and moved to a family in a great public school. That's right, Kathy. That's what you do. And the other point our accountant made was, listen, you're not going to get to write off that school tuition. At least you're going to be able to write off the mortgage interest. Great advice. Let's see. Oh, Anita says we are so afraid of losing until we can't gain. I know, but it's interesting, just the psychology of it. And I'm going to tell you, I have learned so much from WealthyU, from coaching women. I have learned so much because, you make assumptions. But again, financial literacy, investment education, financial acumen is inherited, right? If no one in your family did it, it's not taught in schools. That's why WealthyU, right? Okay, so Latrice says, is it best to keep all my retirement money in my traditional IRA Or should I diversify with gold, silver? So let me talk about gold and silver. And I know, you know, gold and silver, and now you're hearing about, what is it now? Forex and currencies. Typically, gold and silver is used, you'll see that go up when people are afraid that some catastrophe is going to happen. What you need to do is build a solid portfolio of small, medium, and large cap stocks. And then at the top of your pyramid might be some precious metals like gold and silver. But at the end of the day, any WealthyU member will tell you what? What do I tell you? Research it and crunch the numbers, and that'll tell you where your money should be invested. Mrs. Jenny says, we did move into a nice neighborhood and had no idea that they would be building behind us. Our equity has risen, but only because our backyard. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but the key, again, research, right? So research, like I was looking at some property, and I'm always leery of new home developments, buying a new home. I really would rather buy something like a year or 2 years, because I know that these developers, they make the price whatever they want it to be. And so even when we're looking at new developments, the first thing I'm going to go do is look at comparables. What did a house this exact size sell for in this area? That's going to tell me what the price is, because what they try to do is get you with all those bells and whistles, premium lots. When people buy your house, they're not going to say, oh, this is a premium lot. No, they're going to say, what did that house next door sell for? And how many bedrooms did it have? That's how much I'm going to pay for it. You guys understand what I'm saying? Okay. It's scary, but you're right. I'm so ready. And here's what I want you to know, ladies, is you can take baby steps. I think so that's where, so the 4 myths, I just went through them, right? So in the comments, what was myth number 1? Do you remember? Myth number 1 was, put them in the comments, because I'm not going to tell you. As a matter of fact, while you guys are putting those in the comments, I'm going to take a sip of this Cabernet Sauvignon. Tasty. Okay. What was myth number 1? This is WealthyU. You guys got to be on it. Come on, ladies. I have faith in you. What was myth number 1? Student loans. Right. That student loan debt is good debt. That's right, ladies. WealthyU Society sisters in the house. Okay. What was myth number 2? That's right. Okay, you guys got it. What was myth number 2? That's right, Simone. Welcome, welcome. Simone just joined the WealthyU Society. She's now a society sister. 7 figures. That's right. So number 2, myth number 2. Corporate career equals financial success. That's right, Tia. No. A corporate career only equals financial success if you leverage it. If you make sure you're negotiating. If you make sure that you're negotiating for stock options. You make sure you go where the growth is. You make sure that you get the benefits. You make sure that if you are going to get those degrees, those masters, those MBAs, those PhDs, that they pay for it. You take advantage of all their benefits, right? You take advantage of the 401ks, the HSAs, the ESOPs, the stock options, the employee stock option programs, all of it. You make it so. You don't sit there and allow yourself. You don't allow someone to dictate what your earning potential is. You guys get this? You dictate that. And that means you have to be proactive, ladies. Proactive. What was myth number 3? Myth number 3. Do, 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 do. We teaching it here. We teaching. Oh, I'm having too much fun. You guys like, Miss Owens, put the wine down. No, just kidding. I'm just having fun. That's right. Home ownership builds wealth if you're strategic in your selection. That's right. That's right. And then, ladies, myth number 4 I have out: investing is stock is high risk. Good job, ladies. Good job. Okay. So now we're going to shift gears. We've got a little bit of time, and this is actually WealthyU Wednesday. And so, ladies, I've been seeing some great wins in the community, and I want to give you guys a chance to state your wins. So if you're in the WealthyU community, if you've had some wins, if you've increased your contribution to your IRA, I want to hear about it. If you have paid off your credit card, I want to hear about it. If you have, what did I already said? Increase your contribution, open a Roth IRA, did some, opened a stash account. I don't care what it was. I want to hear from you. But I got to give some shout outs tonight. Nita Diane, I mean, you just posted your wins. Man, you are kicking it. Increased, I think almost doubled the contributions that you're making to your retirement account. Amazing, amazing stuff. Bridget Rock, man, you just posted some of your wins. Awe-inspiring. And what you need to know about the WealthyU community is wins are the fuel. Because wins for the WealthyU community team, that's the fuel that inspires us, because we are about results. Every week this team meets and we say, okay, what can we do to help these women get further faster? What can we do to grow and to touch more women? And what happens is, the way we grow and touch more women is that when other women see other women winning, right? And so I must, hang on, I want to look at some more of these comments, because you guys are just excellent. Opened a stashed account, rebalanced TSP, made significant gains since January. All right. Love it. Oh man, needed. Credit score increased by 57. That's huge. That is huge, Nita. Oh, okay. Gibbs opened a stash account, rebalanced that TSP, made significant gains since January. Love it. Tia, increased contributions to retirement accounts and crowdfunding accounts. Love it. Let's see. I paid off Nordstrom's. Girl, you got out of jail. I was telling somebody that, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but it's true. You know, they get a grip on you and you don't even realize it. Then you know how they get you with those little cards. Oh, you get points. It's 3 points. 3 points. I paid $300 for those 3 points. How is that working? Bridget, I'm so proud of you, girl. You got in the WealthyU Society and you have been kicking it. Okay, Hope, increased 401k to 15%. Yes. Whoop. And investing savings total 42% of income. Good grief, girl. Top that, ladies. About to purchase investment property with 20% down in Florida. Go ahead on. Now, that's when it's an investment, right? When an investment, an asset pays you a return, that's how you win. Love it. Woo, Pat, 776 credit score. See, what you need to understand is that a 776 credit score means that literally, if she wanted to buy a car, she'd probably get 0% financing. When she goes to, you know how you see that interest rates are down, 30-year mortgages, 2%, and 15 years, 1.75%. That's only if you got a 776, 800 credit score. You guys understand what I'm saying? So that, sisters, is money in the bank. Love it. Rosalind, filed my taxes on my own. All right. Sent on 218. Got my refund today. That's right. Make sure you invest that money. Lisa, paid off IRS account. Now I'm able to get into WealthyU. That's right. Because we're going to make, but you know what? With WealthyU, you know you're making an investment. Love it. By the way, ladies, Savvy Money Makeover is coming March 22nd. So invite all your friends, because the Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, that's when we spend 5 days, 5 nights. Really, it ends up being 7 or 8 nights where we're just going in. We're finding the money to invest. Then we're learning how to invest it. Then we're learning how to build that 7-figure portfolio. Then it's off to the races. And guess what? WealthyU Society opens up again, right? So it starts on March 22nd. But just go on, invite your girlfriends into the WealthyU community now. Invite them into the WealthyU community now so that they can get in on what we are up to. I am so excited. Women are hitting 7 figures now, right? Some women have just hit over 6 figures. And those were women who started out at 5 figures, in the mid 5 figures, right? So if they can do it, you can do it too. And it all begins with knowledge, right? So you may not have inherited financial literacy, but here's what I want you to know, is that in this community, we focus on first-generation investors. So, yeah, where would you have learned it? We know some of you got bachelors, MBAs, PhDs, MDs, you name it. We have it all in WealthyU. But the one thing you didn't learn was, and the most important thing is the one thing you didn't learn in your formal education, and that's what you learn here: how to turn your income into wealth. And it doesn't matter where you start. But once you make, ladies, tell them, once you make that mindset shift from that income mindset to wealth mindset, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. Am I right? So I was up and I took my husband for his birthday. We just wanted to get away. And so we went to this lovely resort right on the beach that we love so much. I was scouting out properties. I was. I think I might have found a nice little one that's on my vision board. See, got to have a vision. So proud of you guys. So proud. Win. Okay, ladies. So can't get off. This was WealthyU Wednesday. So let's talk about the women in WealthyU who are winners. Now we have some fabulous WealthyU ambassadors. And by the way, let your friends know that when they come into the WealthyU community, they're going to be greeted by one of our WealthyU ambassadors. We believe in white glove service in WealthyU. And that's where you're greeted, you're affirmed, and you'll know exactly what you need to do. And we are also in this Savvy Money Makeover. Everybody's going to have a workbook. We will allow, for your friends can come in. They will have an opportunity if they want to, get access and get a head start. But everybody's going to get a workbook because you gonna learn today. You know how the kids say you gonna learn? This Savvy Money Makeover, we are taking it up a notch. You are going to absolutely love it. And some of you have been through Savvy Money Makeover Challenge like 3-4 times, and every time it gets better. We're going to have some amazing conversations. We're going to learn. We're going to come out of it inspired. But most importantly, we're going to come out of it with more strategy, more mindset, strategy, and execution. And so, so often people ask, well, how do you stay so excited about this? You've been doing this for years. You just do not realize this is like the 20-year overnight success, right? I've been on this grind a long time and have had this vision a long time. And just to see, I share this too. If you join the WealthyU Society, one of the things we do is the team does a fantastic job with orientation and bringing women into and learning about all the resources that we have, the curriculum and all of that. But first in that is really creating your wealthy vision. And so how many of my new WealthyU Society members are on and just went through the Wealthy Vision training? And I know Tawana went through your Wealthy Vision and you creating your vision board. Who is on here tonight? Well, anyway, one of the things I do in preparing them to create their Wealthy Vision board is I share where my visions came from, right? So I've always been someone who's done journals from a very young age. And it's interesting. My daughter, she just takes her stuff to another level. But at any rate, I shared with them my vision for A Purse of Your Own, the book, right? The public television special, the course that you guys are all taking now is a function of a vision that I wrote down, more than 15 years ago, right? And so to see that vision come to light and then, one of the premise of it was that I wanted to be the Weight Watchers of wealth building, right? So how Weight Watchers had the groups and the accountability and the support and and to see it come to fruition, but know that we're just getting started, right? We are in the infancy of this, of just creating something amazing and powerful, right? Amazing and powerful. We're right at the beginning because we have so much work to do. So much work to do. When I quote those numbers, we have 1/10 of the wealth of our count, not for long, because we were wired to invest. We just didn't inherit that financial acumen. But now each one teach one. And that's the whole goal of WealthyU. The next generation will have an inheritance of financial literacy that no one can take away from them. And so that's why it's important to bust these myths. You guys with me? That's why it's important to bust these myths. It's important because we were given the wrong map on purpose. Do you understand that? On purpose. So we get to change that. And that's what WealthyU is about, right? That's what it's about. It's about giving you the knowledge. But you know what the most important thing is? Like people say, well, Miss Deb, sometimes the team gets mad because we get people who come in here and they just try to take the stuff, and then next thing they're 7 wealthy habits and blah, blah, blah. And I said, but you know what? That doesn't even matter to me. You know why? Because the secret is the community. It's not me. The secret is the accountability, the support, the system, the affirmation, the attitude, the grace, the all of it. So, quite frankly, I don't think we can be duplicated. That's the confidence I have. And the confidence is the proof of the results of the women in this community. So the community is the power. That's what I had to learn, right? That the community is the power. That the women in this community are the power. From the Stephanies to the Tawanas to the WealthyU ambassadors to the community members to the WealthyU society members. That is the secret sauce. We have simply created an environment for that to happen and been very intentional about the execution of it. So that's why I'm excited. Yes, did it take years? Yes, it did. But it was worth every tear, every challenge, every no. I pitched. I shared this the other night on Clubhouse, guys. I'm not going to be too, I'm not going to get too off track, but I shared this, that I was in this Clubhouse and, Reid Hoffman, who started LinkedIn. So his podcast is one of my favorite podcasts. So he just started a club on Clubhouse. And so my friend Karen Khan, who is actually the CEO of iFundWomen.com, who you guys know, my daughter, if you were at the masterclass, that's my daughter's iFund Women of Color. So anyhow, so I'm in there. And so the way that I met her, though, the way that I met Karen Khan is that I had been in DC and I had did all these pitches. Oh, not only DC, Baltimore, DC, New York. I was everywhere because I wanted to build the WealthyU app, the Weight Watchers of wealth building, and it was going to have a point system and this and that and this and that. And I mean, I would go on these pitch competitions and I would kill it. I'd come off of that stage and everybody would be, oh my God, that was amazing, blah, blah, blah. Come time to get an award or money or crickets, honey, crickets. I even had one man just wait around for an hour and then he said, man, you had the best presentation, but that problem you're trying to solve is like rolling a boulder up a hill. Thank God my husband was there, right? My husband, you guys don't know, he's always in the background. He's my protector. And so he was, what did he want? So I told him he was like, baby, don't even worry about that, right? So anyhow, back to my story. Okay, so I'm pitching. No. And then, almost to the point where I couldn't do anything but laugh because, me, here I am, middle-aged black woman walking up in these places like I don't have on my hoodie or anything, So I'm standing out like an elephant. So anyhow, the way that I met Karen was Karen had started iFund Women. I had interviewed her on the radio show that I did in Baltimore on WEAA. And she said, you're going to do this crowdfunding campaign. We're not going to worry about them not giving us any money, blah, blah, blah. So sure enough, I raised the money. I raised $30,000. In fact, that's how Olivia actually left Baltimore, was working at Under Armour, went to New York with her brother and started doing some social media for Karen. So anyhow, that's how I met Karen. So then we're in this clubhouse room, right? So I'm going to get back to the clubhouse room. So we're in this clubhouse room, and it's Masters of Scale, and Reed Hoffman wasn't there, but two of his people were there, and Karen was on the stage. So I come in, as soon as Karen's come up and speak. So the gist of it is we were supposed to tell the story about the which podcast was our favorite, and mine was the guy from the Shake Shack. And then we were supposed to tell what we learned. And so I said, one of the most profound things I learned as a founder, I learned this year. And I learned it from Karen, because getting back to me raising all this money. So I just want you guys to understand that failure isn't fatal. Failure is essential. Okay? Write that down. Failure isn't fatal. Failure is essential. Okay, so, we raised this money, $30,000. I want to get a young guy to make this app. We find this guy, string along. About to move to the Amazon platform, loses the code. So I had all these people helping me, Deb, we'll help these. I had these young guys who had did this other, Miss Deb, we'll help, Auntie, we'll help. Finally, they said, Deb, it's going to be, for us to figure this out, you might as well start over. So, I'm just like, Lord, maybe this app isn't the thing. So about a year ago, I'm talking to Karen, and Karen, blah, blah, blah. And she says, Deb, I don't think you need an app. Just go for it. Just build your dream without an app. And that is when we launched the WealthyU Society and had our greatest growth ever. And so I say all of that is that it's not over. And in fact, it's just beginning. But you know what I said on that interview on Clubhouse? And it came from God. I said, I finally realized that sometimes you gotta let go to grow. You understand that? Sometimes you got to let go in order to grow. And so that is the power of community. I'm not at the center of it, right? Like we've created this thing. We're intentional about it. We try to execute with excellence. We're here to give you affirmation, accountability, and support. You are getting high-level training because, by the way, in order for me to be able to deliver to you, I gotta go to the next level myself so that I can bring it back. And so that's why you get all of this stuff in masterclass and, the special trainings. Where I go, you go, because it's not about me. It's about us creating a community and, lifting as we climb, as we learn. And that's why I want you to invite as many people as you can to the WealthyU community. Let them come in and experience the Savvy Money Makeover Challenge and to see that they already have what they need, and that the only thing between them and the financial success that they desire and deserve is knowledge. And that's exactly what we provide you here at WealthyU. So I just want to thank the team, all of the WealthyU ambassadors hanging out with me tonight. Stephanie Bradley Wilson. I see Virginia's here. I think I saw Stephanie here. That's right. You got to let go to grow. You're absolutely right. And all of it made possible by all of you. And so right at 9:00. So did you guys enjoy yourself tonight? Awesome. So remember, you must. So a couple of things I want you to do. If you're not connected to me on LinkedIn, Check out, connect with me on LinkedIn. Great content over there. You guys know we have a new team member. Deprina is killing it on the social media thing. So we want engagement, and we're doing a lot of training and things over there. I'm doing some LinkedIn lives. Connect with me on Instagram. Deprina is killing it over there as well. So if we're not connected on Instagram, make sure that you do that. Of course, join the WealthyU community. Get ready to get on this Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. We just came out of the person portfolio masterclass. We got a lot going on. So get in on what we're up to. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for joining me on WealthyU Wind Down. Again, a big thank you to the team for always supporting the efforts. And whenever I'm up at night, you are too, and I appreciate you. So again, I'm Deborah Owens, founder of WealthyU, where we help women of color build their first 6- and 7-figure investment portfolios so that they can achieve the level of financial success they desire and that they deserve. Good night, everybody.